In this video, we will try to understand the limitations of Bohr's theory. Niels Bohr was the scientist. Niels Bohr was the scientist who conceptualized structure of the atom. He combined the idea of Rutherford, J.J. Thomson, and Dalton. As we know, Dalton considered atom as a smallest unit which is undivisible, which can take part in chemical reaction. J.J. Thomson, when he studied the discharge tube, he observed that there are electrons in an atom. Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment proved that in an atom there is a center which is positively charged. Niels Bohr combined these ideas and gave structure of atom. He considered atom to be a moiety of a center which is positively charged and electron revolve around it in a circular orbit, just like planetary motion of Earth and other planets around the sun. Niels Bohr in 1922 also got Nobel Prize for this achievement. But there were fundamental problems with this concept. With this model, electron was expected to slow down. Also, this concept did not explain why electron has to move in a circular path only. And as electron and nucleus are having opposite charge, they should attract each other. Either electron should come in a contact with the nucleus, eventually it should circulate round and it should fall in the nucleus, and if the energy is more, then electrons should go away from the nucleus. However, this is not observed in a stable atom. So Niels Bohr gave some postulate to explain this phenomena. He said that electron does not radiate any form of energy when it revolves around a circular path. Electron can move from one orbit to another orbit by absorbing or radiating energy. So when electron moves to other orbit of higher energy, it absorbs the energy. And when higher orbit electron comes to the lower orbit, then it should lose energy. That it means it should radiate energy. Another postulate was the centrifugal force by which the electron is rotating around the nucleus in a circular path or orbit is equal to the electrostatic attraction between the electron and the nucleus. This theory was quite successful in explaining the radius of the electron which moves in an orbit and to calculate the energy at which electron is traveling in the orbit. So, centrifugal force is equal to electrostatic force. If we use this equation, then we come up with another equation. Centrifugal force is given by mv square by r is equal to electrostatic force, that is ze square upon 4 pi e0 r square, where m is the mass, v square is the velocity, z is the charge on the nucleus, e is the charge of the electron, and r is the radius. For hydrogen, z be considered as 1. For hydrogen, z can be considered as 1. According to Planck, energy is discrete. That means only certain values of energy levels are allowed, and they are integral multiple of h upon 2 pi. Previously, we know that angular momentum is equal to electrostatic force. And now, from Planck, we know that mvr is equal to nh upon 2 pi. So from equation 1 and equation 2, we can have the radius. If we substitute the value of n as 1, that is for the first orbit, and other values like Planck constant, vacuum permittivity, pi, z, mass of electron and charge on the electron, then we will get the radius of first orbit of the hydrogen atom, that is 1 into 0.0529 nanometer or 52.9 picometers. Energy of the orbit and energy of the electronic transition can be also calculated using equation 1. As we know, kinetic energy is equal to minus half mv square. We can substitute the energy difference in energies of two orbits, say n1 and n2 will have the difference between two energy levels of or two orbit of an hydrogen or any other hydrogen like atom. As energy is related to wavelength by h mu bar c, where mu bar is the wavelength, this equation in the same this equation is the same form of Rydberg equation. If we substitute the value of z, e, m, h, e naught and c, then we'll have a value of 1.0973 into 10 raised to 7 meter inverse, and this is known as Rydberg constant. The Bohr theory provides a good explanation about atomic spectra of hydrogen atom. The different spectral series or spectral lines can be obtained by using different value of n1 and n2 in the Rydberg equation. Thus, with n1 equal to 1 and n2 equal to 2, 3 or 4, we can get Lyman series, which has the wavelength in UV region. With n1 equal to 2 and n2 can vary from 2, 4 and 5 and so on, we can get Balmer series, and this is in visible spectrum of electromagnetic radiation. Similarly, for n equal to 3, that is n1 equal to 3, n1 equal to 4 and n1 equal to 5, we have Paschen, bracket and point series. However, both theory have lot of limitations. When the spectral lines for the hydrogen atom were studied using modern instruments, it was observed that this spectrum was having fine microstructure. This theory also did not explain the spectral series for atoms having more than one number of electrons. Bohr theory does not explain the use of principle of quantization of energy. Bohr considered electron to revolve around the nucleus in a fixed orbit. However, most studies about the electron revealed the dual nature of the electron. When this hydrogen atom spectra was observed with the magnetic field and the electric field, this spectrum showed multiple lines, and this is known as Zeeman and Stark effect. This was also not explained by Bohr theory. So to conclude, we can say Bohr theory does not explain why electron moves in the orbit, why it only follows a circular path, and why electron does not fall at the center when it loses energy. And finally, Bohr theory does not explain why electron does not collide with the nucleus, as electron is negatively charged and nucleus is positively charged. Thank you.